everyone, welcome back to SAT Math Question of the Day. Here we go. It's our question of the day. Please try it. Pause the video, come back, and we'll go over it. Okay, so here we have a equation. Seth, you want to take over from here?
Yeah. Okay. It is a solution means a thing that when you plug it in for the variable, the equation becomes true. Okay? And then you ask for positive ones. Well, it is really, really obvious that if you take the 64 and you replace m by 64, you get this gadget equals. And so, and the only choices are positive, and bingo, that's it. In fact, if you had a really messy cookie thing with an M in it, and an equation that says this really messy cookie thing equals the same really messy cookie thing, with a 64 in it, right? Well, if you replace the m by 64, you get equality. And if they're asking for a positive solution, it's a positive solution because 64 is positive. So it doesn't matter anything about the square and the square root and all that junk to observe what one of the obvious solutions is. That's the end.
When I first looked at this, I looked at it. I saw it. I said to myself, "Oh, the answer's 8." I don't know what
come on.
I know.
You just don't understand. It's a matter of understanding what solution.
I know.
Solution means you plug it in and it's equal.
Right. I know.
That's all.
Yeah.
No squaring. No procedure for solving it. None of that. It's a solution means you plug it in and the equation becomes true.
Right. So
that's all.
Okay. Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. The problem here.
So how could you possibly get it wrong?
Seth, don't say that.
All right.
Because people will get it wrong. The problem
people will get it wrong because people do not understand the math.
No, it's because the numbers play games with you.
No. When you understand the math, nobody plays games.
Okay, well, many people are not going to understand the math. Many people.
Well, that's why we're doing these SAT videos to teach you the way to succeed in the SAT is to understand the math.
Right.
And the understanding of the math is simple. When an equation says two expressions are equal, one of them has a variable in it, and a solution is a value that when you plug it into the variable, the equation says that the two expressions are equal.
Right. No, I know you said that. I know.
Yeah.
So, but you must admit that they purposely I'm going to suggest that they purposely made this question to sort of trick you or fool you, make it seem like the answer should be 8. Okay, but yes, you have to be careful. You must understand what's going on, and then you get the correct answer. For those people who don't see that the answer is 64 directly, you could do what the textbook.
No. Don't take that advice. For those people who are watching the video and don't see that 64 is the answer directly, what Joel and I, are going to teach you is learn to see that 64 is the answer directly. Okay, the lesson is in a problem like this, you learn, and what we're teaching you is not what the book is saying, that you learn what equations mean, and that's why we're saying it, so that we're teaching you this.
Look, let's not be so obnoxious to say this is how you have to do the problem. There are multiple ways to do this problem. There's nothing wrong mathematically with squaring both sides to get m squared is equal to 64 squared, and then taking the square root of both sides, where you go like this, where the square root of 64 squared is 64, the square root of m squared is m, and you get m is 64, and you don't worry about my pluses and minuses because they're always talking about the positive solution. What I did was mathematically correct, and you do
it's
get
correct, but it's correct, but it is the procedure that leads the user of thinking like that to get lower grades on the SAT.
I don't know, but look, we can talk about that off camera. I don't know necessarily if that's... You can't say that. You always blame me. You always say, oh, you're making these statements that... How do you know? Well, how do you know? How do you really... Yeah. Have you done a study? Have you done a study about that? Have you looked at how many people get this wrong and how they generally do?
No, I don't. Yeah, but that's so. Perhaps it's we don't know how the reaction of the people. The SAT makers will track. They must do research and track the statistics of the wrong answers.
No, but that's not what you're saying. You're saying people who do it the way I'm suggesting are going to do lower than the SAT. There's no way to know that. There's no way, when people answer this, there's no way to know how they did.
There's no way to know. That's okay, right. There's no way to know.
So anyway, I guess we should move on to our 4 questions.
But again, I think the reason what is clear is that seeing it this way gets you to the answer much faster.
Yes. Seeing it this way gets you.
And that means it's likely to make a higher score because it leaves you more time for the other questions. Absolutely,
I totally agree.
And the SAT is a time. It is a time test.
Of course. So this came from an October 23 SAT from QAS. It's called the Q Question and Answer Service, and this was a calculator question. It does not look like a calculator would be helpful in this problem. Would you do this question differently if it was given in school? If it's given in school, it probably wouldn't be a multiple choice question. But can you do this question by plugging all the answers in? Yes, you definitely can. You can definitely plug in 4, 8, 16, and 64 and see which one works. That's a reasonable way to do it. And now we get to the last question, which is, what's the main idea? What are the SAT people trying to test you here? And Seth sounds like they're trying to test you as to whether you can quickly recognize that M is simply 64 because of just by looking at it. M has to be 64 because you have to compare both sides.
I think purple is the main idea.
That's the main idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure. Again, it's possible they may want you to also know how to solve equations with radicals and squares in them, which you're going to have to know anyway.
There are other questions that test that.
There are other questions that test that. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we've done enough damage for today.
So if they might do, if they show a question for testing radicals and squares, there's variation. They might give this question: square root of m squared equals 64.
Right.
And then you could solve that m has to be 64. But in order to solve this, you have to know about squares and square roots.
Right.
To solve this, you don't have to know about squares and square roots.
Right. Right, because everything is the same. All the symbology, all the symbols on both sides of the equal sign are exactly the same.
Yeah.
So therefore,
that's the point in the purple.
That's the point of the purple. That's right. That's right. So if you're ever lucky enough to have a situation like that, where you have two equations where the symbol's exactly the same, you can just pick off the answer immediately. But it does, you must admit, it does play with you a little. And by the way, you almost never go and question this quote-unquote easy in school. The teachers you wouldn't get a question like this in school because the teacher would say this is a ridiculous question. This doesn't test anything other than what Seth was saying, that if you have two symbols of the same, then the answer is yeah. In school, this would be considered a trick question because it's too easy, actually.
I wonder if some takers of the test will be misled. Like, it can't be that easy.
It's possible. I mean, I'm not sure whether I think they generally put the easier questions in the front. This was question 5.
Yeah.
Which is a relatively early question on the unit on that part of the test. Okay, so I think we're done. So, Joel, I have a PhD in mechanical engineering. My brother has a PhD in math from MIT and has been teaching computer science for many years at SUNY Albany. He's now retired. So we're here to hopefully offer different approaches and different views, our opinions on how to do these SAT math questions with the hope that you're getting something out of them so that you can use some of the ideas we bring in, some of the approaches that we bring in to help you do the SAT. A good suggestion, we advise that you go over as many SAT math questions as you can and focus on the questions you're not sure about, you're weak on, you're getting wrong. Study up on those materials and really study those questions and those question types. Even study some questions that you get right so that you could do them fluently and faster. You can always go to Khan Academy. They have a course on the digital SAT where they sort everything by question type. So you could study the different types of questions, study particular topics if you wish, and then just take as many practice questions and tests as you can. And particularly the College Board offers a whole load of digital SAT practice. So
when practicing with questions, it means to practice with a question means that you try to solve it all by yourself.
Right. That's right.
That you always try to solve it all by yourself. And never do this. Read the question and then look at the answer right away.
Right. That's right. You don't get much out of that.
Yeah.
You think you do, but you really don't.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we're done. If you have any, please give us comments on our videos. We really appreciate all the comments. And if you have any SAT math questions you want us to go over, please email them to us at satmathquestionoftheday@gmail.com. Okay, everyone. Have a great day.